Now, Indian Constitution is a living document. How do we agree to this statement? The Indian Constitution is a document which is written in 1947-48 to 1950. We discussed in the making of the Indian Constitution. There are various members, various committees who referred various other constitutions of the world, and they have picked up the best suited articles, best suited the rights, everything from American Constitution, from the Russian Constitution, from the Irish Constitution, Australian Constitution, Britain Constitution, and finally they summed up and made a fantastic living document of Indian Constitution. It took nearly 2 years, 11 months, 18 days to complete this massive task. Now, once the Constitution has been written and it framed the rules and regulations, it gives us an idea what are the rules of this particular land, because India is a sovereign country and all the rules which are written in the Constitution or all the laws which are mentioned in the Constitution must and should be followed by all the citizens of the country. There is no exception to anyone. It is the President of India or the common man of the country. All are prosecuted, all are forced to follow the same law that is mentioned in the Constitution. Now, moving on to understand it much further, how can a Constitution which is written around some 60 to 65 years ago will be a living document of the present time? Yes, Constitution has guaranteed for all of us the equality and justice for all. Any kind of discrimination, any kind of untouchability, everything is being banned in the Constitution. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the drafting committee chairperson, drafted the bill and made sure that no person is discriminated on the basis of caste, which is very common seen in our country. Ambedkar himself experienced this kind of tragedies in his own life. So he made sure that nobody else in the future will be discriminated on the basis of religion. For moving ahead, he also guaranteed social equality for everyone. Now the caste discriminations are prohibited, untouchability is prohibited, name on the basis of religion, on the basis of caste, any discriminations which are being made are also completely wiped out because of the laws which are made in the Constitution. Then the Tama Sangh people who fought for their rights, they are able to gain their rights because they are a group of fishermen who were displaced because of the location or because of the construction of a reservoir, the place where they used to stay earlier. They used to stay in the villages which made the river to flow around them, and they used to do fishing there and they used to lead their lives. And once you construct the reservoir and displaced all these people and brought the private contractors to do fishing, how can this be justified? You did not give any opportunity for them for rehabilitation. You did not provide any chance for them to do what the better work they can do. And you are cheating or you are denying their right of doing fishing and giving for somebody else for more profit. So on this basis, they protested, the government called for the talks, and finally they are able to make some positive response and they are able to earn a good livelihood which added beauty for their lives. And coming to the recognition of equality, in India, do we really have equality in all aspects? Social, economical and political. Social, untouchability, caste discriminations are completely banned. Political, every person has one person, one value, one vote. Any person can contest in any elections irrespective of his caste, color, creed, region or any other differences. Coming to the economic equality is far from reality, because when we look at the health issues, we have government hospitals, we have private hospitals. The privatization made it more comfortable. We have seen an example where Aman has been taken to the hospital. to the private hospital, we have treated them in a very good way, while in the government hospital, Kanta has to wait for hours, though they are suffering with fever, though they are suffering with the viral infection. So they waited for hours, and it has been a very massive, difficult task for them to take to a hospital and to bring him back from the hospital. Coming to the media or the advertisements are always benefiting the rich. The big corporate houses run the media channels. So any discrimination or any news against large corporate groups, it is very difficult to be telecasted in any news channels, because the news channels themselves are owned by the rich corporate houses. So it's very difficult to give any news against them. And coming to the advertisements, a small businessman who hardly finds amount to do investment for his business, who struggles a lot, pulls out all his savings and then starts the investment, and he cannot give advertisements in the newspapers where he has to pay lakhs of rupees, or he cannot put an advertisement on the telecasts of the television channels where they also ask for huge amount. So there also the advertisements are benefiting the rich people, the corporate houses, the multimillionaires. So in India, we have still social and political equality, but economic inequality is still present in our country. But coming to the aspect of democracy, there are people always fighting for expanding the idea of democracy. Whenever there is a new issue coming up, whenever there is a violation of equality, whenever there is a harm for the self-respect of individuals, whenever there is a harm for the dignity of the individuals, it has become a very important issue of debate in our country, where they always fought for the expansion of the idea of democracy and recognize the self-respect and dignity of every individual. But at the same time, the self-respect and dignity of every individual can be preserved only if they have assured resources to maintain that. If they do not have the assured resources or the economic support for them, it becomes very difficult for them to manage these things. Now coming to the first point again, how is our constitution a living document? So how is the constitution of our country still a living document? This is a common doubt which many of the students get, which was written before we are born in 1950. We don't know, great grandfathers were alive, and now they are saying the constitution is a living document. How is it possible? How can we say that it is a living document? The framers of the constitution we have never seen, we have just seen the photographs of them. We have just looked at them when they have their birth anniversaries. So how is it justified to call the constitution as a living document? In our constitution, there are special provisions like adding up as per the requirement. You can amend the constitution as many times as you want as per the requirement of the changes which are happening in our society. Our constitution has been amended till now more than 110 times in the past 60 years. It has added many new laws, many new clauses have been brought. Earlier we used to have only 6 fundamental rights. Today we have 8 fundamental rights. Right to Information Act, and we also have Right to Education Act, which two are the compulsory acts which makes us to understand democracy much better. As a common citizen, you can question on any project of the government. You can question on any issue of the government. If you are a citizen of the country, you have the right to know how the government is functioning, how the things are happening, and it is at a very, very low cost. So Right to Information Act assures you the transparency in administration. You can check it at any point of time as a citizen of the country. And at the same time, the Right to Education Act guarantees education for children from age 6 to 14, irrespective of their caste, color, region, or economical status. All the children under the age of 14 must and compulsory should get the education, the primary education. So like this, the constitution has always been added up by certain changes. So the amendments which are happening will always makes us the constitution to be alive and fresh. That is the main reason why our constitution is known as a living document. When do we say the tree or a plant is living? When the old things, the leaves dry up, the flowers come, bud, raise beautiful flowers. After 2 or 3 days they dry up. Again the leaves shed, again the new leaves come, new buds come, again the new flowers come. So like this, whenever there is any new issue arising, whenever there is a new point of difficulty, whenever there is a harm for self-respect, whenever there is a harm for dignity, whenever there is an issue of conflict, the constitution always brings certain amendments, certain changes, and incorporates all those changes. So like this, constitution has been amended for more than 100 times to 110 times, and making it an alive, a fresh document which is as perfect as it is made on today's requirements. So the constitution is not an outdated document. A constitution is a document which is suitable perfectly to the present day scenario by making amendments to this one. That is the reason why the Indian constitution is a living document which always assures and guarantees the equality for all, justice for all, which are the two guiding principles of democracy, and also always tries to protect the self-respect and dignity of every individual. That's all we have in this lesson.
If you like this video, please give a thumbs up. Please subscribe to our channel to get more videos on CBSE syllabus.